First up, though, let's get back to that story we were talking about yesterday and the latest, I would say, insane and morally reprehensible campaign by a big name brand trying to get in with the woke folk, but actually just, frankly, peeing off pretty much everybody else. This is Costa Coffee defending a mural of a post-op trans man, i.e. a woman, showing quite clear mastectomy scars. So a woman, perfectly healthy, who has cut her breasts off, and that being celebrated as a wonderful thing because they say it's inclusive. And it's about being welcoming and inclusive to everybody. Well, let's talk about this with Maya Forstater, who's Executive Director of Sex Matters and joins us now. Good morning to you, Maya.
Good morning, Julia.
I have to say, I had a visceral reaction when I saw this cartoon. It's just a cartoon, not an actual real picture. There's plenty of real pictures of these mastectomy scars. It is awful enough that women who have breast cancer have to cut off their breasts and live with those scars and live with that mutilation of their body, but at least it keeps them alive. There is a purpose to it. When you see healthy young women, even girls, even teenagers, being encouraged, being celebrated for cutting off healthy breasts on their body and then being told this is all about inclusiveness and celebration, I've got to be honest, it makes me feel physically sick. What about you?
Yes, I mean, to have it presented in such a flat, simple, celebratory way, where when they're saying that these are girls with serious mental health issues, and there are doctors saying that the thing to do to solve those mental health issues is cut off their breasts. I mean, that in itself is obscene, and then to present it as a cartoon and a celebration and a normalised, glamourised thing, it's just obscene.
Obscene, that is the right word, isn't it? I mean, this is the UK's largest coffee chain, now owned, I believe, by Coca-Cola, the Coca-Cola company. But they've defended this. We celebrate the diversity of our customers, team members and partners. We want everyone that interacts with us to experience the inclusive environment that we create, to encourage people to feel welcomed, free and unashamedly proud to be themselves. The mural, they say, in its entirety, showcases and celebrates inclusivity. Again, there's nothing inclusive about mutilation of healthy bodies. I put a question to Labour MP Lloyd Russell-Moyle yesterday about, if someone wanted to cut off their right leg because they thought they had body dysmorphia, which is what we used to call people who were trans, people who suffered from the mental health issue of body dysmorphia, believing they are born in the wrong body, someone believing they're born with a limb they don't need. This is a genuine thing. This is a mental disorder where people actually believe that they shouldn't have the limbs that they have. If someone said, I wanted to cut my right leg off and there was nothing wrong with it, we wouldn't celebrate that. We would be sympathetic, we would be respectful to that person, but we wouldn't say, oh, yay, go you, be your true one-legged self. We wouldn't do that because that would be wrong. And yet we are doing that with often young girls. And it's always about women, isn't it? It's always about women in these cases where we're celebrating this. I don't see them having a picture of a guy who's cut off his todger and celebrating that. And I wonder why it is always deformed, mutilated bodies of women that are celebrated.
Yes, I mean, or would they have a picture of a emaciated young girl with anorexia celebrating anorexia? I don't think they would. I think they would say, we welcome and celebrate everyone, but we don't celebrate self-harm. It's just obscene that they're doing this and that they can't see that what they're promoting is harm to vulnerable young girls. That they think this is wholly good.
And that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, again, and that's not to be transphobic or bigoted, which what we're always called. But what I find fascinating is how many of these companies are now doing this. They've seen what happened to, Bud Light. I mean, sales plummeted. I mean, billions wiped off the share price of their owners. We've seen Wix being boycotted over the basic, video emerging of one of their senior figures basically saying we don't want people who don't accept, trans use of pronouns and all of that, except that trans women are women. They're bigots. We don't want their money. Well, fine. I literally had to buy some plumbing stuff a couple of weeks ago, and I deliberately went past Wix to go somewhere else because I don't want to give them my money if they think I'm a bigot for understanding biological fact. We see this again and again. We see the damage to the Nike brand. We see damage to numerous other brands when they do this. And yet they still keep doing it. Why are they doing it? What is the reasoning behind this when we know that they're pleasing a few people who go, oh, how wonderful, well done, you're so inclusive and nice. But the vast majority of people say, ew.
I think there's something broken in their corporate culture. I think what happens is somebody in the organization thinks this is a good idea. Somebody thinks it's woke and they suggest it or they work up the artwork. And normally, you have all these layers of middle management, senior management who are highly paid people who part of their job is to look at bad ideas and say, no, that's a bad idea. But in this case, they don't. And layers of them don't, because they're all terrified. And they're terrified of that their young staff will point a finger at them and call them transphobic, and that will ruin their life and ruin their job. So instead they say, this is fine. And this is happening not just in terms of putting cartoons on the side of vans, but also how we treat vulnerable young people in schools and in the healthcare system. This culture of looking away while harm is being done is the most serious thing. You can look at a cartoon on the side of a van and say, why are we worried about a cartoon? But what it shows about what's going on inside these institutions is terrifying.
I completely agree with you. Maya Forstadt, a campaigner for Sex Matters, thank you so much for speaking out on all these issues. Sam Armstrong's a commentator joining us still in the studio. I felt physically sick when I saw that, celebrating mastectomy scar, not someone being alive because they've survived cancer because of mastectomy, but to use a medical procedure, which is far too easy to get in this country and in America as well, for when you've got healthy tissue because of body dysmorphia, and increasingly also it being younger and younger women doing this. Why are companies doing it? Because it's Costa Coffee, it's Oxfam, it's Dr. Martens, it's Penguin Books, it's it's everybody. They're all on this bandwagon, trying to celebrate. Wicks, everybody, but the public don't like it, and the public do boycott. There is a real, clear financial impact for them. So why are they doing it?
Yeah, and why do they see it as their job in the first place? Why is it not enough for them to be a coffee maker that provides excellent customer service? And by the way, just my personal opinion, but Costa Coffee is the worst coffee
I don't like
you
Costa
can buy.
Coffee. This was not a difficult boycott for me, this one.
No, and all of the food is hugely fattening. There's no good reason, in my view, to go to Costa. There wasn't yesterday, and there certainly isn't reason
But why? But
today.
What's the motivation?
The motivation is these people feel that they need to have a mission. They feel they need to be an activist. Otherwise, it's not enough to be in business, and that's wrong. It is enough to be in business. You've got a virtue signal. Yeah, just sell us ice cream, sell us coffee, sell us trainers, sell us whatever you want to sell. But just, we don't need to know your political views. But my worry is, they do hold those political views, and again, they think we're all bigots for understanding biological reality. That's the really scary thing. I'm not sure these people are employable in any walk of life. That's the really worrying thing.